Coming up, our LSA Focus, we take a look at what the Light Sport Aviation Expo in Sebring, Florida had in store. From a new retro cool design to the realm of, you gotta see this. Plus 4 days, 7 hours, and 44 landings later, one pilot got her tailwheel endorsement. We take a look at the process. And we've got Patty Wagstaff flying at night. AOPA Live this week begins right now. The Light Sport Aviation Expo in Sebring is a wrap. If you didn't make it this year, we've got to look at what you missed. Thanks for choosing AOPA Live this week. I'm Tom Haynes. This week's edition is primarily focused on the light sports segment of aviation. It's the big time for small airplanes. AOPA Live's Paul Harrop traveled to the Sunshine State to take a look at what the Light Sport Expo had to offer.
Sebring is a smaller show where lighter airplanes get to be the heavy hitters in a big way. This year there was a little bit of everything that drew pilots from all over. Michael Ladd chugged in from Chattanooga.
Just getting a chance to see all the airplanes that are lined up everywhere on the flight line, that are flying around, buzzing around in the skies.
There was a wide mix of flying machines. The skies of Sebring were shared by the lightest of trikes and even some old heavy hardware. But the real fun happened after the sun went down.
The night air show here was probably one of the best I've seen.
Even Mother Nature brought variety this year.
When we got up the other morning, it was 39 degrees, but it's warming up a little bit. We're back down to short sleeves and shorts right now. But so far, it really hasn't deterred anybody from coming out. It's been a great time so far.
And the people, or what Michael said, made the show great.
Just getting a chance to hang out and talk with other pilots all day.
All right, going to put you on the spot. What's your favorite airplane you've seen here?
Wow. I got to tell you, there really isn't one. A lot of the amphibious LSAs are the ones that I'm really enjoying, and there really isn't one. So far, all of them really kind of get me going. I like the amphibious airplanes.
And it's Florida, perfect place to fly them.
Exactly, a perfect place to fly them.
Even if you have to dodge a few raindrops. In Sebring, Paul Harrop, AOPA Live.
There were several exciting airplane models on display, including the SAM LS. The design harkens back to the old military trainers and really stands out on the ramp. The company will offer 3 different wing options. It's powered by Rotax 912 ULS paired with a Sensonic 2-blade ground-adjustable prop. It'll be available with tricycle or conventional gear.
I love the Ryan ST and wanted to have this same silhouette of the Ryan ST, but modern. So there is no aircraft like that on the market, so that's why we designed such aircraft.
The airplane is in the process of testing. It's been in the works for several years. The company claims it will be available for flight this summer. If this doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will. This is the Renegade FK-12 Comet. It's a fully aerobatic SLSA. The airplane is powered by a Lycoming AEIO 233 LSA engine. It's got an inverted fuel and oil system. It's rated to +9 and -3.5 Gs. Renegade's Doc Bailey says it's designed to be a great machine.
We got the full-length ailerons to do the flaperons. It's got a stall speed of 36 knots. So, the airplane can slow down really well. It still weighs only 756 pounds. And with the direct drive and no gear reduction on it, it's like the difference between a diesel engine and a little Honda generator. So we get a lot of torque. And we're only cruising 2,500 RPM in the engine instead of 6,000.
The airplane will cost $155,000 turnkey. It comes equipped with a Dynon Skyview panel. One young pilot who already has a lot going for him can add another notch in his belt. The Seaplane Pilots Association awarded a Seaplane Rating Scholarship to 18-year-old Angel Castaneos. You may remember Angel from Sun and Fun last year, where he flew in Team Breezer, a teenage formation flying team. SPA Executive Director Steve McCaughey says the scholarship will help him discover the joys of leaving the airport behind.
It's a lot of fun. The airport's environment is a very controlled environment. It's a very structured environment. One of the wonderful things about seaplane flying is we get to go all over the country and fly into areas that most people fly over and never get a chance to land at.
Look for a story on Angel and Team Breezer in an upcoming edition of AOPA Live this week. When we come back, some of the more unusual things found at Sebring, including the night air show. And getting a tailwheel sign-off, is it as hard as some people think? You're watching AOPA Live this week.
It's been called the most sophisticated single-engine airplane ever. But to the people whose loved ones are alive today, it's called a lifesaver. The Cirrus Airframe Parachute System, only from Cirrus Aircraft.
The thing about radar is you don't know, is this convective? Whereas Storm Scope, no question what it is. It will save your butt and your airplane.
Welcome back to AOPA Live this week. If you've been following our coverage of the South Carolina pilot who was arrested for flying his glider, we have an update for you. The sheriff of Darlington County finally returned our calls. The sheriff told AOPA Online's Sarah Brown he defended the department's initial response to a call from the nuclear power plant security, but said that department staff probably should have realized earlier that the glider was not a threat. To read more of what he said, go to aopa.org and search for glider. The light sport market has airplanes of many shapes and sizes. Some of the most unusual designs flying at Sebring were the Gyros. The Gyro Amphibian was much talked about. Right next to it, though, was the Auto Gyro Cavalon. The composite construction and sleek lines make it stand out from the crowd. Bob Snyder with Auto Gyro USA says it's a natural transition from an airplane to a gyro.
They are easy to fly. They are like an airplane, maybe a little easier to fly than an airplane. However, the safety factor, the fact that you can land the airplane almost anywhere, on a ball diamond, on a tennis court, in a parking space, gives it a little bit higher safety aspect.
Snyder says those elements are making gyros extremely popular in Europe right now. All right, imagine this. You're trying to reach villagers that need your help, but the road is washed out. What do? Makers of the Maverick Flying Car hope you just put up the parasail and fly the rest of the way. They created this light sport vehicle to be used by missionaries.
We've termed it as either fly or die in these remote locations. Because if you don't get help in, like if someone is snake bit or something or broken arm, if you don't get help in or get that person out, there's not much hope for them.
It goes up to 100 miles per hour on the ground and 40 in the air. It is able to be registered with most states as a kit car. The cost? $94,000. And being forced to deal with a large crowd of onlookers every time you take it out. Okay, this may sound like heresy, but one vendor at Sebring claims to have a product that's better than duct tape. We caught up with her for a look at rescue tape.
So this is rescue tape, and it's a silicone tape. It's better than duct tape. So if you feel it first, this is it's not tacky like regular tape. And what you do is you stretch it, which activates it, makes it all nice and happy. And what I'll do is I'll stretch it, wrap it around your finger, and within 60 seconds it becomes an airtight, waterproof, permanent seal that can handle 500 degrees, 950 psi, 8,000 volts per layer. Whatever you're wrapping can be dirty, wet, it can be underwater, it can have solvents like gasoline and oil, and it will still do its thing because it's compressing and bonding to itself, not to whatever you're wrapping. So it can be used for so many different things, whether it's an emergency like a radiator hose, it can get you out of a jam, get you back home safely, any kind of water line, fuel lines, anything like that. For preventative purposes, you can whip rope lines with it, which is awesome, instead of burning them. No more burning ropes. You can use it for water lines, things like this. It sells for $15 retail. You can find it at Ace Hardware, True Value. You can find it at Do It Best, stores like that, or on our website at rescuetape.com.
Whether it's an LSA or something bigger, flying a tailwheel aircraft is a skill many pilots haven't yet learned. But it can be most rewarding once you've mastered that challenge. AOPA Online's Alyssa Miller recently got her tailwheel endorsement, flying a super decathlon from 5G Aviation at John Wayne Orange County Airport in Southern California.
You can imagine what would happen if this ground loop happened at, say, 50 or 60 miles an hour on landing.
Low-speed ground loops are an eye-opener.
With a high center of gravity, the wing would tip and hit the ground, and you'd end up with an expensive repair bill.
It just takes one demo for it to click. Keep the airplane pointed in the direction it's going.
Okay, now straighten it out parallel to center line.
To get a feel for taxiing a tailwheel, I zigzagged across the taxiway and made figure eights in the run-up area.
So I'm using a combination of brake and power as necessary just in order to get it straight, convince that tailwheel to turn around. Yeah, it gets off the ground pretty quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Landings are a humbling experience.
Alright, so we'll just start off with a nice 3-point landing.
Getting And keeping the airplane on the ground proved a challenge. Bounce, bounce, go around. As I worked my way through controlling my pilot-induced oscillations after landing.
The key to a good wheel landing is having a very low descent rate when the mains touch the pavement.
Once I mastered three-point landings, my instructor Ron Rapp at 5G Aviation introduced wheel landings.
It's normal to sort of fear pushing the stick too far forward, especially in an airplane that's got no nose wheel, right?
I was nervous about pushing the stick forward far enough to keep the mains on the ground after landing, which caused several botched attempts.
And then roll it up under the mains. There you go.
A trick he had me practice, landing three-point and then rolling up on the mains, helped me develop the feel for wheel landings. 4 days, 7 hours, and 44 landings later, I finally had a few greasers.
Be real nice. Look at that. Beautiful job.
Alyssa Miller, AOPA Live.
Good for you, Alyssa. You can read more about her Taildragger experiences on AOPA.org. Just type in ground loop in the search box in the upper right corner. That's it for this week's edition. Join us back here next Thursday. We leave you with a look at the night air show from Sebring, featuring Patty Wagstaff and Team Aerodynamics, formerly known as Team RV. I'm Tom Haynes. Thanks for watching.
Every Thursday,
we're working to get you answers.
The most experienced reporters in general aviation.
Bringing more details as they develop.
The stories that affect you.
We talk with our own safety expert.
Every Thursday, AOPA Live this week.